of America on Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020. And this is Live Talk, Diaspora Forum. I'm Jonga Kandemirin.
And I'm Gibbs Jume in Maryland.
Tonight on Live Talk Diaspora Forum, we are looking at the COVID-19 cases in the country and around the world. As of yesterday, Zimbabwe had recorded 7,915 cases after 17 people tested positive. It had 6,440 recoveries and 229 deaths following the death of one person. This leaves the country with 1,246 active cases.
And there are 229 people who have actually died of COVID-19 in Zimbabwe. And indications of that the disease is still around, although cases have actually gone down. Now, worldwide, Jonga, we see that over 35 million people have contracted COVID-19 and over 1 million people have died. This according to Johns Hopkins University. And in USA, there are more than 7.5 million people who have contracted COVID-19. And out of this number, 210,918 have died. Endaweni zonke zomhlaba ezijeneyo lapha ke kuLivetalk sikhuluma ngakho ke ukuthi COVID-19 idla ke tikelele lapha ebamba khona abantu ayikhethi. Sibone lo mongameli wakweMelika umnumzana Donald Trump ebanjwe yiyo phela i-COVID-19. Kusithi labanye sibili abazikhulu ezikhulu emhlabeni wonke jikelele onjengoBoris Johnson oweLebhilitane la ke kuna manje sebefika phose 8,000 abantu sebebanjwe i-COVID-19 eZimbabwe. Bese kusithi abedlula 6,000 sebasila, kube sokusithi ke aba-229 sebabhubha. Lokhu kwethulwa ke mhlangothi lwezempilakahle. Nxa sesikhangela ke okwethulwa i-Johns Hopkins University, ithi abantu sebefika phose 36 million sebebanjwe i-COVID-19 emhlabeni wonke jikelele. Abedlula 1 million sebabhubha. Nxa sesikhangela ke kweleMelika Jonga, kayangazani sibili umkhuhlane lo uhlabile 7.5 million asebanjwe i-COVID-19, 210,918 sebebhubhile. So ke umkhuhlane lo uyamemetheka Jonga.
Ndizvozvo vadiwe vateereri nevatariri. Nhasi tiri kutarisa nyaya dzakati kuti, asi nyaya hombe yatiri kutanga kutarisa ndedenda reCovid-19 muZimbabwe, umo tinoona kuti vanhu vanosvika 7,915 kana kuti zviuru zvinomwe nemazana mapfumbamwe ane 15 ndo vanhu vakabatwa nechirwere ichi kusvika parine zuro mushure mekuvhenekwa kwevanhu vanokwana kuita 17 kana kuti 10 vaine chirwere ichi iye nezuro. Izvi zvakasiya vanhu vapona kubva kuchirwere ichi vari pazviuru zvitanhatu nemazana mana nemakumi mana 6,440. Koitawo vanhu vashaya kusvika pane zuro vanga vave 229 zvichitevera kushaya kwemunhu umwe chete. Zvakasiyawo zvakare nyika iine vanhu vanokwana kuita chiuru nemazana maviri nemakumi mana nevatanhatu 1,246 vari vachiri kurwara nechirwere ichocho munyika, anganzi pachirungu maactive cases. Pasi rose vanhu vanodarika mamiliyoni 35 35 million vabatwa nechirwere ichochi. MuAmerica chete vanhu vanodarika 7 million kana kuti mamiliyoni 8 vabatwawo nechirwere ichocho. Imwe nyaya tiri kutarisawo zvakare nhasi inyaya yegakava kana kuti debate riri kuitwa pakati pemutevedzeri wemutungamiri wenyika yeAmerica vaVice Pence nevari kukwikwidza vachishanda pamwe chete nevakadomwa kuti vange vachimirira kana kukwikwidza musarudzo yemutungamiri wenyika vachimirira bato reDemocratic Party vaJoe Biden, Senator Kamala Harris. Vari kuita inonzi Vice Presidential Debate nhasi manheru ano muguta rinonzi Salt Lake City kudunhu reUtah muno muAmerica. Vatanga vachiitawo gakava. Izvi zviri kuitika mushure megakava rakaitwa pakati pavaJoe Biden nava Donald Trump. Svondo rapera iro gakava rakaita kuti vanhu vakawanda vabvunzane kuti ndo zvinofanira kunge zvichiitwa here, nekuti varume vakuru ivavo vanonzi nevamwe vaikandirana makobvu nematete vasingapanane mukana yekuti vange mumwe achitaura zvaita kuti vashoropodzwe nevakawanda. Asi vamwe vari kuti gakava ranhasi iri richange riri gakava rinofanira kunge richitarisirwa zvichibuda zvakanaka zvaifana kunge zvichiitwa pagakava ravajoe biden navadonald trump ndo zvakutarisirwa zvinge zvichiitwa nhasi. Gakava iri riri kuuyawo nguva iyo mutungamiri weamerica vadonald trump vakabatwa nechirwere checovid-19 pamwe chete nevamwe vavanoshandawo navo mukamba yavo kuwhite house ikoko vakabatwa vakati kuti nechirwere checovid-19. Tiri kuonawo pasi rose dzimwe nyika kusanganisira uyo america nana UK chirwere icho chinonzi chaakuti simukei kunyange hazvo kuzimbabwe chiri kunzi chiri kudzikira. Gibbs
kunjalo kunongoke ojonga kanemberi obika khonapo kuti umongameli Donald Trump ubanjwe umkhuhlane we-COVID-19. Siyabona ukuthi e-White House asebanjwe umkhuhlane lo. Kube sokubuya njalo noStephen Miller onguye phela ophethe intambo khona ngale e-White House. Nguye umcebisi omkhulu kamongameli Donald Trump okhuluma ngeze-immigration, akhulume futhi la ngokuthi ezombangazwe kumele ziphathwe njani. Nxa sikhangela konke lokhu kukhanya ngazani sibili khona ngale e-White House sokuzalele ingwe. Nxa sikhangela futhi kusiya phambili ukuthi umnumzana Mike Pence lonkosikazi Kamala Harris bakhangele ukuthi bazanqilana namhlanje ntamba bekhuluma ukuthi sokumele phela kwenziwe ukhetho welemelika mhla ka-3 November kulokhetho olukhulu kakhulu olukamongameli nayo olubelana nedala lephalamende nxa singakhuluma kweZimbabwe kodwa ngapha kuthiwa iCongress. Nxa sesikhangela konke khonokho babekhuluma ngakho njalo lokuthi kambe i-COVID-19 yaphathwa njani umongameli Donald Trump. Nxa sikhangela manje kulokho kuthiwa ngama-polls siyabona ukuthi elizweni lonke jikelele kukhanya ngazani nxa sikhangela kukhitshwe i-CNN ne-Reuters kubika ukuthi-ke uyakhokhela uJoe Biden 57 ka-41 khonapho kukhanya ngazani kulokhu kukhanya kule-gap sibili nxa sikhangele kuma-polls lawo. Kodwa kulezi igaba ezikhangelelwe ukuthi phela yizo ezenza ukuthi umongameli abe ngumongameli kule melika. So sizakhuluma ngakho futhi khonokho ukuthi kungaphuma kungqoqomiswano le ezayenziwa nguKamala Harris lo mnumzana Mike Pence. So-ke khona manje I'm happy to say that John guests are in right now. We've got Mr. Mbuso Busani, Mbuso Ntini. He's an independent political commentator. And Mr. Regis Vusango, he is the provincial chairperson of ZANU-PF, and that is in the Americas. So let's bring in first maybe Mr. Vusango, how this kind of debate tonight. Chonga, go ahead, sir.
Yes, Mr. Charumbira, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes, maybe before we go to tonight's debate, maybe you can start by giving us your views on the COVID-19 figures in Zimbabwe. Of late, we've seen that the figures are going down. What's your take on that?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's very unforeseen that this pandemic has no solution really. So the more people stop using precautions and measures, definitely the virus will start spreading because we don't have any solution to it. We don't have any vaccination yet. So yeah, it's unfortunate that the numbers in Zimbabwe went a little bit high than expected, and than also the way it has been. The numbers have been down for a while, and there's not been any death for a couple of months, and it's unfortunate that we see that the numbers are rising again, even though the temperature is a little bit changing. I think when I was speaking to people on the ground, the temperature in Zimbabwe so far, September finished, and there was a cold breeze. There was a cold breeze in Zimbabwe for the weather of September, which is unusual. And for sure, we can see that the hot season hasn't arrived yet in Zimbabwe. And we hear that this virus does well in cold temperatures. So I think let's wait for November and December. This is our highest peak as far as the weather is concerned. We're going to have high temperatures, and we will see how it goes. And I think apart from that, the government has been doing very well in terms of trying to continue educating people and continue emphasizing that people should be very aware that this pandemic is still lingering out there. And I want to thank also the Zimbabwean, the citizens. They've been doing very well in each province. But I mean, we have no vaccine, so let's just continue believing and praying that we won't have this rise again. Maybe as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Charumbira. Maybe mungangoti de neshona ndisandaenda kuna baba ngoti neshona.
Yes, tiri kuona kuti manumbers edu kuZimbabwe macases of COVID-19 anga amboti dzikirei, vanhu vanga vachishayika nechirwere ichi tanga tava ne0 recording for a couple of months, but taona kuti all of a sudden tiri kuona kuti manumbers aya ati kwirei mbichana, and izvozvo zvinoratidza kuti chirwere ichi since chisina vaccination, vanhu vedu vanofanira kungova vari vachikontinya kupractice social distancing, washing of hands regularly and use of sanitizers, because chigwere ichi chiri out there hachisati chaenda. Saka also chandiri kuona ndechokuti September usually kunenge kuchipisa, ende chigwere ichi chinoita chino spread more kana matemperatures ari low. Tiri kuona kuti September unonzi wapera wese, matemperatures ekuZimbabwe ari a little bit low. Saka now zatakinda kuna November, October, tapinda October, now takinda ku November, ndo nguva yedu yekuti weather yemuZimbabwe inenge matemperatures anenge achiraisa. Saka tinotenda kuti taakusvika munguva yekuti chigwere ichi chinge chiri very low muZimbabwe. Ndoda kutenda kuti government yedu kuti vari kuramba vachikurudzira vanhu kuti rambai muchipractice social distancing, muchiita maregulations ese ari kunzi aitwe neWorld Health Organization, kuitira kuti chigwere ichi chinge chekuti tingofanira kuti minimize nokuti chichiri out there. Saka vanhu vedu they have to be very aware, ngavarambe vakatarisira kuti vakazvichengeta pachirwere ichi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your take, say, what's your take on the recent low numbers recorded for COVID-19 in Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
Hello?
Is that me, Mr. Jong?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that for me?
I think
No, go ahead, sir. Kuluma.
Okay. I believe that all countries around the world were
Mr. Jonga, is that for me?
by the availability of the test kits. So when you look at a country like Zimbabwe or any other third world country, it is really hard to believe that their numbers were ever accurate. Because when you look at the number of cases, they are driven by the number of tests that you do. So in America, in Canada, in many other countries, they tried to do as much testing, but they were also behind. They didn't get to test as many as they had hoped. But in Zimbabwe and other countries, we know obviously they did not test enough. I believe now the numbers appear to be going down. I don't think that is actually true. I think the testing is not as inclusive. If you look at the rural area, there is no testing in the rural areas. So a lot of people, with all the issues that are happening in the cities, lack of water, lack of electricity, lack of jobs, people have moved to the rural area and testing hasn't followed them there. So I think in Zimbabwe, it's really hard to, assess the accuracy of the numbers at this point.
Thank you so much, Gibbs.
Yeah, nxa ungatsho-ke ngesintu ubona ngazani kuhamba njani kwamantini kweleZimbabwe?
Ngokubona kwami ngibona ngani into ye-COVID-19
I think Gibbs.
I can hear you. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I-COVID-19 ukuthi amanamba akhona azale kuhle, they are driven by ama-test. So nxa ukuthi ilizwe linganelisi ukuthi liteste abantu abaningi, kusuka inamba yakhona ingazwakali. Ungakhangela amazwe anjengeMelika, eCanada, Britain, bazama ukuthi beteste abantu abaningi kakhulu, kodwa labo babengani abayehlule ukutesta abantu ngobuningi, kodwa kade sebetesta silokuzwayo. Kodwa ungakhangela eZimbabwe, asizange vele siteste okuzwayo. Njalo khathesi amanamba akhanya ayehla mina ngombono wami angikholwa ukuthi wona amanamba ngikwawo ayehla, ngibona ngani ama-test ayenziwa. Ungakhayela abantu abaningi sebemuvile baya emakhaya bebalekela ukuswala kwamanzi, imisebenzi lamagetsi emadorobheni. So laba abantu abasemakhaya akulabantu ababathestayo. Siyezwa from time to time uzokuthiwa hayi kobani ubhubha umuntu, kobani ubhubha umuntu amalanga elandelana, kodwa abantu labana abathestwanga ukuthi babe kuyini. So emaphandleni lapha amanamba akhona, angiboni ukuthi government yethu ilama resources ukuthi ihambe wonke amakhona omhlaba etesta abantu bonke. Yingakho amanamba akhanya ngathi ayehla, kodwa mina ngibona ngokwami ukwehla kwakhona ayisikho. Njalo i-second phase that njalo sesivulile amabhoda, there is a chance ukuthi amabhoda evulwa, izikolo zivulwa, abantu abaningi bazagula. Amanamba nxa ukuthi reportwa accurately kumele ekhanye khwela njalo, umbono wami.
Yes, Jonga.
Thank you so much. Tiri kuenda kuna vacharumbira asi kune background noise yakati kuti ndofunga vari kundinzwawo. Vacharumbira muri kundinzwa? Mr. Charumbira, can you hear me?
He says he can, yes.
Yes. We have seen that. Okay. Maybe Gibbs, you can forward that.
Yes.
We have seen the government relaxing COVID-19 regulations and the requirements, now allowing people to even leave the country as long as they have those COVID-19 certificates. Is that not in a way going to bring in the disease or the pandemic into the country?
So, Mr. Charumbira, the question is, the government is allowing people to move around, leave the country, come into the country. So is this not going to cause havoc in terms of COVID-19? That's his question.
Okay, thank you. No, Mr. Gibbs, if you look even all over the world now, because we have to open the economy and we cannot continue closing. The only thing the government is doing is we need to let people in and out so that the business can start happening in our country. Otherwise, we are going to be locked up, and we can't continue being locked up. We did that already, and that took a toll on our economic growth. So now the only thing that the government is going to do is to emphasize people to be very careful. And one thing I wanted to say is that our people also, they have to be responsible, because mostly people are likely to stop precautions. The moment that they see that there is no death happening because of COVID and the numbers are not, they're checking the updates and they see that the numbers are not growing, people tend to forget that the COVID-19 virus is still lingering around. So they tend to live a normal life. But we want to urge the citizens that we have not arrived yet to the time of living a normal life as far as COVID-19 is concerned. The government will continue to open up the borders for people to freely coming in and coming out. But the responsibility now is up to us citizens. Let's continue those precautions, because the moment we stop that, we will see the number of cases rising up, and then the government will be forced now to start putting more restrictions. And I think once the restrictions have been opened like this, we have to take the responsibility so that we can continue having the movement and the mobility that we've been actually, not receiving for some time now. So I think the responsibility is no longer too much on the government, but it's now on us citizens of the country.
Yes, gentlemen, we are trying to get another guest, Mr. Tim Muringai. He says we can call him right now, and he's going to explain one or two things. But maybe we can turn, while I'm still looking for him, let's turn into hardcore politics. We have seen that a lot has been happening at the White House. And one of the issues is President Donald Trump has got COVID-19. Excuse me. And so a lot of things have been happening. Some people are saying, well, he didn't handle the disease properly. But others are saying, he has tried his best. So there are two sides of a coin. So, but at the end of the day, did the president handle this COVID-19 properly. Let's hear from Mr. Ntini. So I'm trying to cue him in so that we can hear his kind of view. Mr. Ntini.
I do. I think when we look at COVID-19 from the beginning to where we are today, I don't believe that it was handled in an appropriate way by the U.S. government. I mean, of course, all blame is directed to the president, Trump. I think we should have acted much earlier, as soon as we heard of what was happening in China. But of course, we know what happened subsequent to that. There was some denial. He called COVID-19 a hoax. He said it would go away by Easter. So he pretty much wished it away. He thought it could just go away. It would never enter the borders of the US. So a lot of things should have been put in place as soon as we knew about the disease in China. One of the reasons why, we ended up where we are, of course, there used to be a pandemic committee or, a task force at the White House under the Obama administration. When Trump came in, he pretty much got rid of the pandemic task force, which pretty much, these were the CIAs of the pandemics. These are people that will have known what was happening around the globe and will have given Trump more information, and hopefully he will have acted on that information. But when you start looking at the current state with him now, presumably, being, infected or having COVID-19, at the same time, he's acting as if he doesn't have it. So there's a lot of people that are even questioning, does he really, is he really COVID-19 positive with the way he's acting? You think people around him, the health professionals, will not allow him to act the way he's acting if he was indeed COVID-19 positive. So there is a lot of things that are being questioned. Yes, it's a political season. We're only less than a month to the elections. So I can see maybe there's a need for him to be out there, to make sure that his voters know that he's doing okay. But at the same time, when you look at the COVID-19 holistically, I do not believe that he handled it appropriately.
Tonga?
Yes, thank you so much. Let me go to Mr. Charumbira. Vacharumbira, tiri kuona kumuzinda weWhite House, mutungamiri weAmerica vaDonald Trump vakabatwa vaine chirwere cheCovid-19. Tiri kuonawo vakawanda vavanoshanda navo kumuzinda ikoko nemamwe maseneta vakabatwa vaine chirwere ichocho. Zvizvi zvamungataura, tiri kunzwa vanhu vakawanda vachiti vaTrump vakarera kana kuregerera denda iri vachiritora sedambe.
Mr. Charumbira is asking for your take on what is going on at the White House in Shona and then English briefly.
Yeah, saka I think in Shona ndoda kuti ina ndifungi kuti I think it starts a life ya President Trump. President Trump munhu ane asingadi kuruza kana kushowa failure. Saka problem yakatika ndeyekuti vakablame China for the virus. Saka vablame China for the virus, havana kukwanisa kuti vange vachizopfeka mask, because kupfeka mask kwavari vanenge vasubmita himself to the Chinese virus yavanotaura. Saka ndinoona kuti problem yakatika ndeyekuti kana chinzi virus inospreada nekusapfeka mask. Chero ukaisa sanitizer yako usina kupfeka mask, according to World Health Organization regulations, unobatwa neCovid. Saka tiri kuona kuti president vedu vanenge vaita President Trump vakaita neglection yokusapfeka mask vachinda kumarally, and kana uri mukuru uri leader, vanhu vano tend to follow you and to do exactly how you are doing, because as a leader unenge uchitaridza vanhu kuti do like me. Saka vanhu vaenda kumarallies kuya vachingoitawo zvaita President Trump vasina mask, and naizvozvo taona isi kuti ivo vazopedzisira vabatwa neCovid yacho manje, and dei vanga vari munhu anga achingopfekawo mask yake I don't think it's a problem at all. But now we see kuti pavakaita paitwa hearing ya vanonzani ava Coney judge, the new Amy Coney, the new judge with Supreme Court of that they want to put there. That gathering was a epicenter of COVID-19 at the White House. We see that almost, I think I can guarantee you, Brother Gibbs, that most of the people that were there, maybe 99.9%, they have COVID because they were not having masks. And to furthermore, most of the people who were actually riding the Air Force One, flying the Air Force One together with the president, most of them probably have COVID. They might not really say it because it's a political secrecy. But that's the issue. I mean, they should have just put masks and just follow the guidelines, because these guidelines are for everybody else. They are not for Americans. They are for everyone else, and they come from the World Health Organization. And we see that even when this the breakout of COVID-19 came, President Trump was actually fighting with the World Health Organization, still telling them that I will not fund you, when they were putting the measures for everybody to follow. Now, in short, I would say President Trump, I think vakaita failure yokusapfeka mamask, vakaita failure as a leader. Kana uri leader, vanhu vanokuteverera. Tiri kuona isusu muZimbabwe medu kuti President Mnangagwa vari kufamba vakapfeka mask pese pavari. And the president vedu vari kuti, ende chimwe chatoda kuemphasize ndechokuti kana munhu akapfeka mask yake, ngaavhare muromo wake nemhino yake. The mouth and the nose should be covered in a mask. We see that President Mnangagwa always put his mask, and not only that, vanopfeka futi magloves everywhere pavari, vanopfeka magloves plus mask. Izvozvo kuinda more than beyond, which is good kuti kupreventa chigwere cheCovid. Saka isi tiri kuona kuti President Trump vanga vasingapfeki magloves, vanga vasingapfeki mamask, and vaifamba vanhu vachivateverera vakadero, and vanga vari munhu wekuti President Trump vanga vasingadi kusubmita himself kuvirus, because vanenge vasubmita to China by kana vakapfeka mask, kureva kuti China inenge vapfekedza mask. Saka ivo vanga vasingadi kuita izvozvo, vanga vachipokana nekuti virus yakabva kuChina. Saka izvozvo ndozvaitisa kuti tione kuti virus iya yazozara paWhite House. Vanhu vakanga varipo pagathering yajaji munyowani aroda kuti aiswe neSupreme Court, vose vazhinji vakaita COVID nenyaya yekuti havana kutevedzera maprecautions nemameasures. Saka I think kuti ngavatevedzere mutemo nemaregulations eCovid. Hazvinei nokuti uri muAmerican kana kuti uri kupi. World Health Organization yakati vanhu vese pfekai mamask. I think ukapfeka mask yako, ukapfeka mamask yako, ukatora sanitizer yako, ukaisa maoko, unenge wazvichengetedza padenda reCovid-19. Denda iri harina rusarudzo kuti uri president wenyika ipi kana kuti uri ani, rinobata anyone else. Ndatenda.
Thank you very much. I think we have to switch on to another topic today. Jonga, what do you think?
Yes, we can talk about the vice presidential debate. That is a hot topic, and is on tonight in Salt Lake, Utah, here in America. Maybe we can start with Mr. Ntini. Mr. Ntini, your expectations on tonight's vice presidential debate?
Thank you, Mr. Jongwa. Hello, Mr. Charambira. I think now we can actually hear each other at the same time. Tonight, I think we are looking for a civilized debate. We are looking for a debate that will discuss issues that people care about, the American voters. We are hoping that today this would be a replacement of what happened last week. I see that Mike Pence may come in and try to correct the wrongs that President Trump did. He may actually come out more presidential than Trump. Then on the other hand, I see Harris. I think she's a very outstanding woman. She will come in and put the facts. There will be less Fed check negatives, I think, this time around. So I'm looking forward to a very civilized and informative debate.
Yes, now looking at what is going on, Mr. Charumbira, do you think that this debate is going to be fair? And remember, these are very good debaters. You know, the two are very strong at debating issues. So, what do you think about what is coming tonight?
Right, I think yes. Tonight's debate it's gonna be very important, and the fact that this is the only one debate for the vice president, it is going to be it's going to shape the election, and this is how it's going to shape the election. There was a lot of bickering on the first debate. A lot of people judged the first debate as the two children who are in the first grade arguing about candy. And so now we are going to see the real patriots going head on, trying to fix and to align their views and the democracy into the ears and the eyes of the Americans. I think I'm looking at the fact that Mike Pence, Trump chose him to be his vice because he's a calm guy, a very patriotic, and he's a straightforward and he's a straight shooter. And I'm looking at the fact that Mike Pence is going to come and try to correct all the wrongs that and all the perspectives that have been thrown into play from the first debate, and also this COVID issue, how it has been handled, how President Trump is been involved in this COVID saga. So I think he's going to come while calm down and explaining to the Americans. And I think he's going to be speaking to the voters this time, telling the voters what they have done. And I don't think he's going to spend much time on the COVID-19. He's going to spend more time on the economy and all other foreign policy and domestic policy. And I know he's good at that. So he's going to take the attention from COVID-19 and bring foreign policy and domestic policy and change the narrative of this debate. While Mrs. Kamala, I think Mrs. Kamala already she's prepared to talk more about COVID-19. She has no experience of foreign policy and much of the domestic policy. If we look at her domestic policies when she was the Attorney General there in California and all that, there's a lot of different views on her record. So she's probably just going to capitalize on the White House COVID-19 issues, and also the fact that the president himself has tested positive. So she's going to hit hard on that, while Mike Pence is going to take the viewers from that angle, taking them to foreign policy and domestic policy.
Thank you very much. Babuntini, ungamphendula usithini ngakhonokho ngamafutshane sibe silethe ujonga kanemeli.
No, I think what Mr. Charambira is saying is correct, but I think, thank God, I think the moderator will come with topics to be covered. So I think the moderator will really drive the conversation tonight. If they're talking foreign policy, they'll stick to foreign policy. So yes, but initially I can see Harris needs to come out and point out how bad this administration has failed in terms of COVID-19, and also what developed yesterday, the talks around the stimulus package. A lot of Americans were looking for the second round of the stimulus package, but Trump just said, you know what, no more talks. So people are waiting to hear what the Biden and Harris ticket has to say about the stimulus package as well.
Yeah, it's clarifying isindebele khonokho.
Umbono wami namhlanje, I think umoderator uzaba nguye okhokhelayo ukuthi kukhulunywa ngani. Njalo ngiyabona uHarris yes uzakhuluma kakhulu indaba ze-COVID ekuqaleni, kodwa I think uzakhuluma adlulele phambili ngoba wesikhathi akufuneki ukuthi ukhulume into eyodwa many times. So I think initially uza highlighter ukwehluleka kwa Trump le administration yakhe nge-COVID-19. Okunye azakhuluma ngakho ukuthi uTrump usethe ama-talks elokhu ze not ukhulunywe nge-stimulus package engaqhubekeli phambili. Abantu abande nge-America bebeyimelela imali evela ku-government ukuthi basize for ama-unemployment lezi izinto ezibahluphayo.
Yes, akuzakhuluma uDonga.
Yes, thank you, Gibbs. And just to add up on what we are talking about, tonight's debate will be moderated by Susan Page of USA Today. She will be the moderator. And, you know, there was the issue of the plexiglass. And of late, Vice President Pence's team was saying no to glass. But we understand that they finally agreed to that. What's your take, Mr. Tini?
Obviously, if someone is coming from the White House, interacting with the White House, I would not even want to be anywhere near them personally. So, you know, this is just like, you know, Harris is saying, hey, at least let me protect myself and those around me. So I would definitely, you know, do the same thing if I were in her shoes.
Jarumira.
I can't hear Mr. Jonga, but I hear everybody. So I didn't hear the question.
Okay, the question is, you know, there is this division that is being done to say, okay, let's have some screens during the debate. So the Pence team has agreed and said, okay, let's have them, you know, in case there could be some spread of COVID-19. So at the end of the day, what's your take on that? Realizing that a debate is about not what comes out of your mouth, but even body language. So in a class, can you make that kind of body language, you know, and all those kind of things?
Yeah, Mr. Gibbs, you know, you see, we have to look at the times that we are living now, right? We are living in this COVID era, and I think what's important is life after the debate anyway, for Kamara and for Pence. So they better be protected. And I think also they've said that this one, there will be viewers. I think there will be audience. And the audience is also are being tested as they come in and they get a wristband. I think, I don't know if you've heard that. But we see that. I think on this debate, everybody's going to be tested. And also, that's also a precaution that at least they should put dividers. I am for that. You know, putting dividers, it will help the spread of the virus from one person to another. And I'm sure the visors will be probably very clear enough for them to see each other's posturing and all that. So yeah, I think it's a noble idea to do that. And I think the debate for Trump and Biden, they should have also done the same thing. I mean, you know, if you know, America is a great country. They can improvise and put something that even when you look at it on the television, you might not even see that there's a visor while it's there. So I think the most important thing, let them do anything possible to protect people from contaminating and also from spreading this pandemic from one to another.
Then when you look at issues like COVID-19, what role is it going to play in this debate, Mr. Fusango Charombera?
Right, I think before the COVID-19, this is the greatest nation on this globe. They have ammunition for anything else. They have the capability of finance. They rule the world as far as finance is concerned. So we see that there's nothing really hard for America here on earth. But when the pandemic came, we see that the victim of this pandemic in this whole world is USA. Even the smallest countries in the world, they have not recorded casualties as the USA, which is a very, very sad moment for United States. So COVID-19 is going to shape this election because the numbers, especially in New York, we saw the governor there, Cuomo there. He was already saying, I think he closed some schools yesterday. He was about to close some Ascendia businesses that are not Ascendia, and synagogues. He said he was going to shut them down because the numbers are already skyrocketing again. And he was saying, I cannot let people die. So I will do anything possible to make sure people don't die. And we are seeing people are actually dying. So I mean, anything for me that is going, any policy that is going to come out of this debate, but to protect people from the spread of COVID-19, I think we should just go with that. It does not matter which administration, but let's worry about the people.
Yes, let me bring in Chongaka Nemeri so that we can have him on the show as well. Chonga, go ahead.
Yes, I think I can throw a question to Mr. Ntini. Mr. Ntini, we saw the previous debate between President Donald Trump and Vice President Joe Biden. Theirs was seen as something that was not serious by many viewers who said that they were interrupting each other and they were not, they were being disrespectful at times. What do you expect of tonight's debate between these two vice presidential nominees?
No, I think today it will all start with the moderator. I think the moderator has to set the tone right away. I think the moderator needs to have more control. Yes, the first debate between Trump and Biden was a disaster by any measure. We shouldn't expect that in a global leader in terms of politics here in the US for that to happen. So I think today the moderator, I believe the USA today is kind of in the middle, is not left or right. So I'm hoping that she'll come in, be balanced, and make sure that she's not being interrupted and no one is being interrupted. So I think if she can set the tone at the top, right away and make sure that, and I'm hoping that also, with what happened in the first debate, I'm hoping that now the committee on debates already had the candidates sign a document to say who adhered to the rules of the debate. So I see today, I think it's going to be a very civilized, maybe even boring, debate. People will stick to the rules. People will fear interjecting each other. So, we look forward to, people presenting facts, people addressing issues that impact the American people. And not only the American people, I think people around the world, they are looking for the foreign policy. Personally, I believe that when you look at Pence and you look at Harris, they are not really, on this ticket as VPs. These guys are pretty much the number one ticket. When you look at Trump, he's much older. You look at Biden, they're much older. So I'm looking for these guys. They're already setting the tone for the next, round of elections where they'll run themselves as the presidents of this country.
Maybe you can repeat that in Sindebele.
NgesiNdebele ngithi khona I think namhlanje sabona kule debate enhle kakhulu abantu bazahloniphana imoderator kuzamele vele ekuqaleni itshela abantu ukuthi belandele imithetho eyiyo abayisanileyo bengakabuyi ku-debate. I think namhlanje kuzakhulunywa izinto ezakha abantu, kuzakhulunywa izinto ezitshoyo ukuthi i-COVID-19 lesiphila kiyo sizaphuma kiyo kanjani, sizakuza iqiniso ukuthi how far away ngelokuzeni wini lokhu umuthi we-COVID-19 uTrump wathi khona hayi uselwa amaviki amabili amathathu. So hopefully Pence will be objective and will tell us some facts in terms of like how far away are we with the vaccine. So we are looking forward to a very debate civilized, debate enhle engxenye vele izagcina isilalisa isibhowa ngoba abantu sebelandela imithetho kakhulu.
Mr. Charunda, so as a Zimbabwean, what could be of benefit to you when you watch some of these debates?
All right, I think You see, I always give the example of ZANU-PF and MDC alliance.
Mhm.
And I think my brother there who just spoke here, I think I like almost everything that he has said. You know, this debate we are going into tonight, it's going to be more of articulacy. It's going to be more of direction, order,
Mhm.
and also giving the viewers or the Americans exactly what they expect. It's going to happen tonight, and there is no other way. So you see that the bickering and all this infighting and all this childish, tantrums and all that is not going to happen tonight. And we see that in Zimbabwe. And the result of this debate tonight, you will see how civilized USA is, even though they go through turbulences. But tonight they are going to clear the path to democracy and civilization. That is going to happen at the end of the debate tonight. And this is when us as Zimbabweans should look at and take from there. If we are talking about democracy, then we have to kind of come to a point where we also follow those that are ahead of us as far as democracy is concerned. For example, why are we having a lot of bickering in Zimbabwe? When are we going to also come to a point where we have debates and situations where we are handling our political situations without endangering the lives of the people? Especially when you look at the MDC alliance being invited to Poland, they refused. They want to have their own terms, and now we are seeing that Dr. Kupe is appointed the opposition leader in parliament, and Britain actually intervened. They came with the idea, and they proposed that if MDC alliance Chamisa becomes MDC, the opposition leader in parliament, they will fund his pay, and he refused. So you see, when then I think also the government, we should also give the benefit of doubt to the government. They've done everything possible, try to culminate the situation, try to make things work so that at least we can have a platform where our politics can shape our democracy. And this is what I'm saying. Like tonight, we as Zimbabweans, we should be able to come out of this debate tonight and see how that can fit into our politics in our country. So because we are tired of sitting on the same spot over and over, year after year. We can't continue from election to election without anything that we have between the two elections.
Thank you, sir.
But,
I
but
think
maybe I can throw a quick question to Mr. Charumbira.
Yes.
There are many people who think that in Zimbabwe we'll never see a presidential debate. Do you see one?
So the question is, do you see any presidential debate in Zimbabwe in the near future? Very briefly, so that we can take care to your baby, Mr. Charumbe.
Yeah, I don't think there's a debate can be done even for 2023. There's no problem at all. But I think for you to come to the debate as an opposition or as a political party in Zimbabwe, we have to kind of have some form of agreement and some form of a relationship, right? Because you have to plan these debates and put rules. But if we are already violating rules before we are already going against the government, because you look at the Biden team. Of course they disagree with the administration, Trump's administration. But when you look at America, their internal issues are internal issues, but they don't divide them to a point where they go sideways and they never want to come on the table to discuss the way forward of their country. We need to start having that. We start from there. Charity begins at home.
Yes, so much. I think we've got Ketue Pepe on the line. Ketue, we can only see your glasses and not the. Yes, now we can see you. Take it down a little bit, just down a little bit. Yes, right there, Ketue. So now, Ketue, tell us, what's your take on the U.S. vice presidential debate coming tonight?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I am very much looking forward to it, and I'm hoping that Kamala Harris can pull it off. And I think with the two candidates that are debating tonight, they are not as combative. I know that they're going to respect the debate rules. I think they're not going to behave like the boss. So I'm not looking forward to the VP is a very reserved somebody, so I think he's gonna respect the debate rules. I'm looking forward to it. I'll have my popcorn ready and in front of the screen waiting. I
So now,
think
Mr.
this
Mbuso,
one is going.
yes,
This one is gonna carry weight on both sides. I think.
and Mr. Mbusontin is saying, in the same token, that's going to be boring, you know? If you are listening to people who are too casual, too formal,
I can't hear.
so Mtin is saying it's going to be boring because of that. So people being too casual.
The other thing too, which I knew were the other people talking, so I can only hear you.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I can only hear you.
Okay,
So I'm
go ahead.
So I'll just be responding to whatever you ask me.
That's all right. So go ahead, yes.
Yes. So yeah, actually, this debate is going to carry weight on both sides because now both sides will behave, respect the debate rules, so that we can actually get content out of them. What I am curious to find out is how the VP is going to defend his boss. That's what I'm curious about.
Yes.
Because the VP himself, he's a true Republican. And the Republicans don't do most of the things, if not all the things that the boss is doing.
Chonga, maybe to
Yes.
get you, and then go to Ntini.
Yes, welcome, Miss Bebe. My name is Jonga Kandemiri. Maybe you can give us your views on those who are saying that the politics here in America, this time a month away from elections, is too much centered on COVID-19. Maybe it's because of what happened at the White House and also President Donald Trump testing positive for COVID-19. Are there any other topics besides this for people to discuss?
So, Ketwe Pepe, the question is, are there any other topics to go for tonight except COVID-19? What is happening at the White House? What do you think?
Other topics is why is there so much stuff? One topic that I'm hoping they will address in addition to COVID is why they have so much staff turnover in the White House. What explanation does he have? Because these are the things that he was attacking Obama on in the past election, saying that Obama has too much staff turnover. So I want to see how he explains his own staff turnover. Why is that every ex-staff member leaves the White House and writes a book against him? Why is that?
Yes, don't forget to develop. I'm
Oh my, manje sunithola.
Yeah, yenza njalo. Yeah, yenza njalo. I'm yeah, qhubeka.
Engisho ukuthi okunye amele abakhulume ngakho ukuthi yini okwenza ukuthi iminyaka le ngu4 abantu abasebenza emahofisini nalana amakhulu bebe betshintsha all the time, and then nxa bephuma ehofisini bayebhala yamabhuku bekhuluma ngokuthi uboss wabo ubesithi esenza ukuthi lokuthi ngikhangelela ukuthi bakhulume ngakho khonokho. Singakwazi ukuthi kuhamba njani khonapho ukuthi abantu abakusebenzelayo bathi bephuma bakhulume kubi ngawo.
Yes, I was going to get to a story about Jonga. I think we still have Mr. Ntini. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Mr. Ntini, your take on what we were just asking Ms. Bebe, that many people are talking about the COVID-19 issue. What else can be expected to be discussed at tonight's vice presidential debate?
Mr. Ntini, go ahead. What else can be? Do you expect other issues to come out during the debate except COVID-19?
Yeah, I think definitely they need to talk about healthcare in general. You know, the Obamacare needs to be addressed. And also the Supreme Court nomination, I think, may come up. We should, get to hear what Pence thinks about the candidate and also what Harris thinks about that candidate, given that Harris and, she comes from, the legal background. So hopefully she will have some input on the Supreme Court nominee. And in terms of the timing of when that Supreme Court should be voted on, I think that would be something to hear. And I'm also I don't know, in terms of foreign policy and also things around domestic issues. There's a lot going on outside of COVID that is kind of right now we are only focusing on COVID, but we have to look at what's happening with Black Lives Matter. Given that Harris is Asian, Black American, I can see those issues coming up, and also her record when she was in California as the I can't remember what position she had, but I think she may get questions around her record there as well. And I think it will be a good opportunity for her. I think a lot of Black Americans, Black voters, have a question mark in terms of her time in California. So hopefully it will present her the stage to let the world know, to let the voters know, and clear things out.
Your last word, Mr. Charumbira. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Brother Gibbs and the team. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes, I would like to thank the panelists, Mr. Jonga and Koma Gibbs, and also Brother Mtini. Thank you very much for a constructive debate. I think today we kind of agree in a lot of things as far as our views are concerned, and I think that's a very good thing. It's a plus. Like you said on this debate tonight, like I said as a wrap off, I think we see that, of course, they are going to talk about the Supreme Court nominee. That one is going to come into play, and they will try. I know the Democrats are saying because of COVID-19, some of the Senate from the Republican Party should not. Let's postpone it. And I think Pence will be coming in with how they will modernize to have that Supreme Court.
Sorry, I think you got cut off, Charumbira. I think we cannot hear him now. Sorry for that. Ketwe Bebe, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and I could hear him also talking.
That's all right. We got cut off a little bit. So
Yeah,
your last word.
My last word is again, I want to reiterate that today I'm hoping that we can actually confront issues from both sides. The Supreme Court nominee, understanding why the Republicans are going against what they said when the last year of Obama being in office, understand their logic there, understand what the healthcare issue. They've been in office for 4 years and they still don't have a plan on healthcare, but they want to turn down Obamacare, but they don't have a replacement. And we need to understand the logic there.
Okay, yes, thank you so much, Ketwe Bebe. Mr. Vusango, 10 seconds, sir. If you can hear me, Vusango, I think is out. Mr. Ntini, your last word, sir.
Us over, and I think I agree with Mr. Charanda. This was a more civilized conversation, but he tried to bring in politics, the Zimbabwean politics, but we'll let him fly with that for today. In any case, thank you so much. I look forward to the debate tonight, and like Ketwe said, I am getting my popcorn and also some Red Bull just in case it could be boring.
So, your last word, 10 seconds. Do you think this is going to change the complexion of the whole presidential election? This debate?
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I think I got cut off. Yes, of course, this is going to change, and the incumbent definitely Pence is going to come very, very prepared, and as you know, Pence is someone who is very practical and very. I think what is an expertise in terms of public speaking, and the counterpart is not really experienced on these platforms yet, so he's going to come prepared to deliver, and you see the presidential character out of pens tonight, that even if the Republicans lose this election, they might already have a nominee to represent them
Thank you.
in the Republican Party.
Thank you very much. I think we've come to the end of our show today. We should thank our guests this evening, Mr. Regis Rusango Charumbira, the ZANU-PF chairperson in the Americas, Mr. Mr. Busani Mbuso Ntini, an independent political commentator, and Miss Ketwe Pepe, another follower of politics. She's based in Canada. Signing off is Gibbs Jumbe in Maryland, saying good night, Zimbabwe.
Neni Jonga Kandemiri, ndichiti murari zvakanaka vateereri nevatariri.